accept this, then permanent health, harmony, and supply will result. And so she encouraged people to say, I am divine wholeness. She says, think of yourselves as the truth of God. Know that what is true of God is true of man. And from this standpoint, you can deny sickness intelligently and master all the cares of life. So in this new year, in this new moment, we have a chance to go deeper, to really open our awareness to that truth, to feel it in our heart and mind, and be it. The human form is really a perfect creation. It's perfect divine energy. Holmes even says, when I went back to Anatomy of Healing again, what appears to be wrong is not wrong in itself, just the wrong arrangement of what is right. I like that. It's kind of like the wrong arrangement of what is right. Because, again, he says the same thing. There's no dualism in the universe. There's not God and something else. And he even talks about science. Science knows that no energy will operate against itself. So as we think about this great tool that we have in Science of Mind, or divine science, and this tool that many of the other religions have used in different ways, we really have a great opportunity to make our life what we want it to be, to live at a higher, more joyful, more loving, healthier, happier level. And of course, as we do this, all the people around us are affected by the love and peace and power that we are emanating. In fact, as we know, we're all one in the one. So we're lifting the race consciousness. We're putting more joyful power into being who we are. It's always there, but we're letting it be. We're letting it express. When we think about a practitioner, and we teach in classes here that everyone can learn to be a practitioner for themselves. We also teach you can go to practitioners and ministers who are practitioners for help when you feel a little stuck. But when we think about it, a practitioner is not trying to use a spiritual power to operate on a physical state, although it kind of looks like it and sounds like it, but it's not, because it's all spirit. It's all spirit. Form is spirit expressed. And so a practitioner, when someone goes to a practitioner, or when we act as a practitioner for ourselves, we look beneath the apparent symptoms of disease or disorder and see the light of truth and pure energy that is the truth of ourselves or the person for whom we're treating. Walt Whitman said long ago, at the center of everything nestles the seed of perfection. That perfection is in every one of us. It's in everything. It's just waiting to be revealed. Well, when we think about, many of us grew up in more traditional religions, and the traditional religions say surrender to God. And you know, that for me kind of rings the bell of, okay, now I'm going to put my strings to the puppet master and he'll move it the way he wants to move me. And that's kind of what the traditional idea seem to be. But Troward said surrender means surrendering the lesser to the greater. So it's surrendering those limiting ideas that we seem to come up with so that we can be all of who we really are, so that we can be love expressing. We can be the power and the presence of joy and peace. It is done to you as you believe. We have the power to choose what we believe. We have the power. Time and space are just ideas that we've created, but they are not the true power. So when someone says, gee, I'm sick and it's going to take X amount of time to get well, that's only if we believe it. And as soon as, like Melinda Kramer said, as soon as she changed that habit, that old belief, the healing was revealed, the perfection. Well, it's interesting. Science of Mind has given us the tools to make our lives new again, to begin every second of our lives in a better way. But what is interesting is most of us use those tools only sometimes. And when I use Science of Mind tools sometimes, then what results in my life is sometimes happiness, sometimes health, sometimes abundance of wealth, sometimes love, sometimes peace, and sometimes wise decisions and actions, and sometimes not. So it seems like it would be worth the time and effort to really focus on using those tools to meditate, to treat, to study, so that instead of sometimes happiness, health, wealth, peace, and wisdom, I can have all the time happiness, health, wealth, peace, and wisdom. We can achieve more prosperity and wealth by remembering that there's an unlimited divine source, a divine supply that's available to all of us when we accept it in our heart and soul. And the great thing is we don't have to figure out how are we going to get it. Is it going to come from here, there, what? We have to just believe it and then be open. And if the inner voice, the inner knowing says take some steps, we take those steps. But we don't have to make it happen. We can achieve more love in our lives by remembering that love's an attribute of God and of us. And so there's really not a lack of it. There's only a lack if we believe it.